This is Tony Boutros with the Reborn podcast. Today we have the honor of interviewing Jay Miner, who transformed his life by losing over 70 pounds through self-development and now serves as a training, nutrition, and mindset coach. Jay, what ignited your journey into self-improvement, especially considering your remarkable weight loss of 70 pounds? Can you share that initial spark that led to this transformation? And also, I forgot to mention, thank you so much for being here.
Most definitely. Ultimately, my wife is who triggered the initial weight loss journey. Ultimately, personal development kicked in. I didn't even know what personal development was back in late 2021. I just started working on myself. I started learning about investing. I started working on eating better, working out. And it really kicked in about, I'll say, I really started seeing a big change in about August of this year. Wes Watson, I'm one of his clients. So yeah, but ultimately to answer your question, it all began with my wife. So all credit to her.
So now, was that sort of a thing where she told you got to get it together or we're done? Or was that she's encouraging you while she's also improving herself kind of thing?
Most definitely. So it was more so a situation where she seen herself in a shirt. She didn't like the way she looked. She hopped on Weight Watchers. She invited me along. Me and my wife locked in. So no, we don't have those type of issues where if you don't do it, we out of here. We locked in.
Yeah, I got you. So that sounds like you guys have some good chemistry going on. I love that. That's and then with Wes Watson, dude, I've interviewed like almost gonna be every single one of his clients by now. Probably 4 or 5 of them now.
Yeah.
But now you were saying embrace the come up is one of your sayings. So could you share a significant moment during your journey where you truly embrace the process of change and personal growth, given it can be hard when you are on the come up and it's rewarding at the back end?
Most definitely. So first of all, I'm from Mississippi, man. So, it's poverty stricken. The entire come up, my whole thing with the come up is that's when you learn lessons about yourself. That's when you gain so much insight. That's when you gain gems along the way. These are the things that are gonna keep you disciplined when chaos kicks in, because chaos is a part of life. I won't mention any names, but I was dealing with something in particular late 2021. I was dealing with separation from friends. I was dealing with quite a few things that I made a conscious effort. I went out and purchased a particular watch that I missed off my bucket. And I said at this point in time, this is not the greatest financial decision, but I'm going to use this moment right here today.
Yeah.
I screenshotted it. I screenshotted the date. I screenshotted everything. I went out and bought a Rolex. And honestly, it was not the right financial decision at that time, but my life has been nothing but up since. So again, materialistic things don't make or break you. However, sometimes we need things to chase.
It was really kind of that, forcing yourself, because if it was not a bad, or if it was not a good financial decision at that point, it had to get you into that point where it could be a good financial decision. Yeah.
Definitely.
Now, you were talking about learning lessons about yourself. What would you say is the number one lesson you learned about yourself while you were on the come up?
Stop procrastinating. Stop procrastinating and believe in you. Listen, you're stuck with you regardless of how it plays out, regardless of what goes down, regardless of who comes into your life or leaves. You're stuck with you. And procrastination, look, it's the beginning and the end of so many people's goals, journeys, everything, because we put off things so long to the point we never get to it. So I would say learning to stop procrastinating and understanding that I'm a procrastinator by nature is something I had to break.
Yeah. I think, I don't know about you, but I know I've definitely dealt with procrastination before, being a perfectionist, wanting to have the right way to do it instead of just doing it the wrong way 50 times. And then by getting it wrong so many times, you'll eventually do it right and you'll eventually be better than everyone else. I mean, you hear about that. I remember listening to a motivational speech by the late Kobe Bryant last week, and he was talking about how he was awful when he was like 12 years old, and by the time he was 14, he was murdering everyone else because he was just putting the practice in, and he was failing over and over and over again. So There's another simile or one of those kind of things. I don't know which word it is, but basically there was this two groups of people of students, and one was given a task to make the perfect clay pot, and the other group was given a task to make as many pots as possible. And so not only did the group that made as many pots as possible make more pots, they also ended up making a better pot. So by failing, you're going to end up being, I've had to really realize that for myself recently. So I appreciate you bringing that up. Another one that really kind of goes into that is, you said if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Yes. How can you provide insights into how you approach planning, not only in fitness, but also in personal development and in business, and how has it contributed to your success?
Yeah, so first of all, again, I have to give all credit to my wife. My wife is the dopest person I know. She lost her mother at 9. Outstanding stand-up person, stand-up individual. She taught me to start writing things down. And when I began writing things down, I tell people, write things down is a cheat code on life. I start every single day with a tablet and a short to-do list. I check them off. As you check them off, you're not only accomplishing goals, but you're building confidence as well. So the biggest thing I teach people is you have to write things down. You have to plan, because ultimately with no plan, we just throwing paint on the wall. You just hoping to stick. You have to have a plan. And I'm not saying the plan always works perfectly, but at least you have a roadmap. You have to have a roadmap if nothing else.
Now, with your plan, because I've heard this a lot recently, that you want to write things down physically, like on paper. What are your thoughts on writing things down on paper versus just putting it on a computer kind of thing, or on your phone?
Yeah, but so someone new, I just need you to get it put down. But me personally, I like to write things down. Listen, writing was the original way to pass messages. You feel what I'm saying? I feel like it has mental. I think it plays a mental role when you write things down. I feel like it sticks with you just a little bit more. And not only that, let's be clear. When we type in our notes, when we type in our phones, even writing you this morning, bro, you get so many typos. I'm having to go back. I'm losing my thought. I was an artist as well. So the worst thing possible as an artist is attempting to get my lyrics down and the typos. Now my whole flow is thrown off.
You said you were an artist. What happened to that? You're not an artist anymore?
Man, well, ultimately, I believe we're all creatives to a degree. I was a rapper. 1, age, you know what I'm saying? 2, the lifestyle, and 3, honestly, I'm tired. I'm just tired of it. You feel what I'm saying? I believe in Jesus Christ. I believe in God, and ultimately, a lot of things that's pushed in hip hop culture. You know what I'm saying? I get it. I'm from the culture. I get it. I am in the same breath. You know, a lot of those things conflict. But don't get it twisted. I'm in my studio now. I still might record from time to time. It's more so just for me and my family at this point.
Just for fun. Now, you were saying that you're a Christian, you're a follower of God.
Yeah.
Did that happen? Did you become a follower of God on your journey of personal development, or were you already sort of following God before then?
I've always believed in Jesus. I'm from Mississippi, so I was raised in a Baptist church. I was forced to go to church as a kid. Okay. But it's one thing to be forced to go to church. It's another thing when you really start gaining a relationship with God, when you really start understanding exactly, who he is, the role he played, and things of that nature. So I've always been a Christian.
Yeah, I think it gives you that mental clarity. It gives you that power, really, because I mean, if you're really the most powerful person in your life, then you have no one to hold you accountable. But if you have God in your life, then obviously that's an ultimate accountability right there. So, excuse me. Now you've mentioned that it's a lot more, and you said it's a lot more to being a real one than meets the eye.
Yeah.
What qualities or principles do you believe defines a real one, and how do they relate to your coaching philosophy?
Most definitely. So first of all, as you started, I believe a person has to have morals and principles, first and foremost. You have to have what you believe in. If you don't believe in anything, you're willing to do anything. You feel what I'm saying? You have to have rules for yourself. You have to have things set for yourself. Part of the issue with social media now is people are so easily influenced by others that they don't have a standard for themselves. They don't have oh, I won't do this, I won't do that. So with that being said, they'll do anything. Then you find people in such crazy situations that oftentimes trouble is easy to get into, but it's hard, next to impossible to get out of. You feel what I'm saying? I partially lost your question. What was your question again? I'm sorry, forgive me.
How can that how does that relate to your coaching philosophy?
Okay, of course. So I believe in, of course, non-negotiable tasks. What you agree to, commit to the commitments you made to yourself. No one else can believe in you if you don't hold the commitments to yourself. You have what you believe in. You're not even adhering to that, but you're attempting and you're wishing that the people you love and the people that respect you. Why would someone respect you when you don't respect yourself? You don't honor the commitment you make to yourself. So I believe in being non-negotiable. Being a real one to me is just being genuine, being who you are. Obviously, I'm from the lifestyle, I'm from the culture, but I believe in sharing love. You know, we have enough people playing tough. We have enough people playing hard. And half of the people kicking that ain't never been involved with a real situation. So me, when I say be a real one, be genuine to yourself, have your morals and principles, what you believe in, and don't alter it for anyone.
I like that.
Yes, sir.
What are for all of your coaching clients, are they the same non-negotiable tasks you have? And if so, what are your non-negotiable tasks, or what are the ones that you give to your clients?
Yes. So of course everyone is different.
Kind of giving away some of the sauce.
Yeah, right. So everyone is different. But my main ones are, I need you to get a tablet. I don't care how tough you are. I don't care how you feel about yourself. I don't care how good your memory is. I need you to get a tablet. I need you to write down your non-negotiables. I need you getting up at a certain time. I need you working out. I need you sticking to your macros. I need you sticking to your plan. But everybody is different. So ultimately it's different for everyone. But it's some things you have to do. Fact of the matter is, doing uncomfortable things is what strives us forward, what separates us. If you're always in your comfort zone, your results are going to reflect that.
What was that first one you said? You need to get them on tap?
A tablet, some type of notebook or tablet or
something. Okay. I see. And then what are your morals and principles you want to abide yourself? What do you want to relate yourself with? I mean, you were saying genuine and showing love, not just being cold-hearted like a lot of people nowadays are, or they pretend to be, at least.
Yeah. So first and foremost, I believe in God. That's the cornerstone of everything I do. I mess up, I make mistakes, I do all kind of messing up. I've done a lot of messing up in the past. But first and foremost is God. Let's see. I don't want to say anything I shouldn't say to cause any confusion, but of course I believe men and women. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I believe in being genuine. I believe in setting an example. I believe in well, I say setting an example, but being a leader. And being a leader, you have to be sticking to certain tasks. I believe in not fearing man because I fear God.
Yeah. Amen.
So it's quite a few morals and principles that I stick with. I can't remember them all right at the moment, so forgive me for that.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Those are some good morals and principles to live by. Excuse me. Your motto includes raising your standards and becoming a blessing when you build yourself up. So that means erasing those who are negative on your life from your life. How do you help others raise their standards when you're coaching them in fitness, nutrition, and mindset?
Well, ultimately, the fact of the matter is, we used to have an information problem. We no longer have an information problem. We know what to do. The issue is application. We know what to do, but people just refuse to stick to what they know to do. Back in the day, you probably don't remember, you're probably a little younger than me. They had what they call Slim Fast. That was the I figured you so Slim Fast was supposed to be some type of shape that makes you lose weight ultimately. Well, now it's no ands, ifs, or buts about it. If you stick to your macros, if you track what you eat, you're gonna lose weight. If you
Mm.
work out and eat properly, you're gonna lose body fat and gain muscle mass. So the
Mm.
fact of the matter is, we know what to do.
Yeah.
You have to do it. The information means nothing if you're not gonna apply it. So that's the main thing: applying what you know, applying the things that you know that are gonna make a change in your life.
Do you think that most people, they need that extra push? Like, for example, for you, it was your wife, or your clients, it's you. Do you think it, what can people maybe who don't have that luxury in their life to either hire a coach or have someone in their life that'll give them that extra push? How can they just get started and just get over that mental hump? Because that's what it is, as you were saying. It, they know how, but it's harder. It seems harder than it is.
You have to want to. Ultimately, listen, the easy route is always going to be the easiest route. I mean, it's easy to do the easy thing, but you have to get uncomfortable. And ultimately, you'll never change anything if you don't decide to. You have to make a choice. Listen, your life is on you. It's on you. It's not on anyone else. You can point fingers. You can blame it on your past. You can blame it on traumas you dealt with. None of that matters ultimately. You are stuck with your life, and what you make of it is what it's going to be. Me personally, I always believed in myself, but I just needed to know it was possible. You know, again, being from Mississippi, you don't, it's not a lot of successful people around you. So when I started getting in different circles, when I started changing the people I was around, I began to see, okay, oh, this is possible. I just needed to see it was possible. For others, you have to want it. You have to want to. You're not going to accomplish what you don't want to accomplish. It's always going to be easy to be comfortable, but you have to get uncomfortable. There's no ands, ifs, or buts about it. You have to get uncomfortable.
I like that. I like that. I like that. And I think that really that goes into the next question I have for you is I was watching through your Instagram feed and I saw a video of yours and where you pointed out fatigue can and will make cowards out of all of us.
Yeah.
How do you manage fatigue both physically and mentally and keep pushing towards your goals day in and day out?
Well, it's necessary. See, at the end of the day, again, I'm a real one. I pride and separate myself. You hear me say from time to time, I'm nothing like them. Ultimately, I was a collegiate athlete. I was a football player, etc. So what I know about people is anyone can be the best at something when they're in tip-top shape, when you're not tired. But when fatigue kicks in, that's when we decide. That's when we figure out who we really are. Like Kobe, for instance, you mentioned him earlier. I remember the game where he broke his finger and he played through it.
Yeah.
No disrespect. I'm sitting down. you see what I'm saying? I'm sitting down. Basketball involves your hands. How am I gonna dribble this ball with a injured finger? You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you have to take pride in separating yourself. Take pride in breaking away from the pack. Don't look, you want to stand out no matter what you do. And I believe we all have a personal uniqueness. I don't believe anyone else needs to try to be like anyone else or attempt to imitate someone else. You can take traits and things from a person that you like, but you have a personal uniqueness. The way I speak, the way you speak, everyone is different, and you have to embrace that. My kids like to say, well, would this basketball player be this basketball player or this character on the video game? Well, check this out.
Yeah.
If your health down to 25% and I'm at 100% and I got the worst character on the game and you have the best, I'm finna get on your behind. So it's all for me, man, it's all mindset. You have to believe in you if you don't believe in anyone else. You have to believe in you.
Can you go into your collegiate football career a little bit?
Man, it was tough, man. That's when I learned a lot of lessons, man. See, check this out. As a kid, 17, 18 years old, you believe, for whatever the reason, I believed adults would be doing right by me. You feel what I'm saying? Every football team I've been on, the coach that recruited me left before I got there. You feel what I'm saying? I started my freshman year at the junior college I went to the last couple of games, and I got injured in the process.
Mm.
The offensive coordinator, pretty much at the end of the season when I got hurt and he didn't like it, he pretty much told me I wasn't talented. You feel what I'm saying? Now, you don't make it to the collegiate level not being talented. You feel what I'm saying? But as a kid, 18, you're still a kid. 18, I'm like, man, I'm questioning everything about myself. So I left that school. I went through depression, etc. But at that point in time, that's when I realized definitely all you have is God and you. You know, that's when my faith in God really began to. Because at the end of the day, you can't depend on man. You can't depend on man. You can't depend on man. My feelings change. Your feelings change. I don't know how you gonna feel tomorrow. You know, but ultimately, God is unchanging. So not to get on a tangent, but to answer the question, football obviously is a contact sport, so you can't be scared playing football. So it definitely played a large role on my mindset. However, failing in college, because again, I've been a stud. Failing in college proved to me, hey baby, you just like everybody else. Don't feel yourself too much. Anything can happen. Anything can happen. And ultimately, that's the main thing I took away from my collegiate career. Anything can happen. No matter how cool you think you are, no matter how much you have going on, it can end just like that at the blink of an eye.
Let me ask you a quick question regarding that. What position were you?
A running back.
Running back. And so when you left, you said you went through depression after you left the school and you found God ultimately.
Yeah.
Is that around the same time that you ended up gaining the weight that you eventually came to lose as well?
No, so I didn't gain the weight until way later once I got married, going through the process of being, you're married. You're not married, are you?
I am not. Not
Okay,
yet.
okay. So when you get married, man, the thing is you relax, you kick back. So now I have a home. I have the luxuries I enjoy. I don't have to chase sex. I don't have to chase certain things. So you're relaxing. You're relaxing. You're eating what you want. You're eating too late. You're doing all these kind of things, and it snowballs. It snowballs. Snowballs. That's why you see so many people that's a little bit older, so bad out of shape, that's married. So I didn't gain the weight at that point. I was still in shape, even through the depression. But getting married and sitting around eating what I want, having the access to whatever I want, that's where the weight gain came. I also dealt with a lot with my my baby boy, my son. I went 6 months without seeing him. Based off of relationships with the mother, and that really had a negative impact on me. That's really when I began drinking and things of that nature.
Would you say you when you didn't lose that weight originally, were you using exercising as a coping strategy for the depression? And then B, another question is well, let's go on that question first. I think these are going to be two long answers.
Okay. So to answer your question, no, working out has just always been a part of me. Being an athlete, I played football since junior high, 7th grade. So all I know is to work out and try to be in shape. Now, obviously, I'm gonna say this: even as a collegiate athlete, I didn't have abs then. Well, I have abs now. So with certain things, working out alone wasn't enough. But to answer your question, not to go off on a tangent. No, so at that point, fitness played no role in my mindset, or it wasn't a coping mechanism. It was just something I knew to do. It was just a process. Yeah.
And then when you did get married and you did gain the weight, would you say you became too comfortable? Especially, you're already locked up. You already got that ring on your finger. Right. You already got your wife locked up. You get too comfortable, would you say?
Well, I wasn't thinking from the perspective of being too comfortable. I really was just going through the motions. See, we need habit disruption from time to time. At that point, I was just going through the motions. I didn't recognize I was that fat. You feel what I'm saying? I didn't recognize what I looked like. And ultimately, even gaining weight, I never stopped getting attention from women more so, even though
Mm.
I'm married and I wasn't running around this and the third, but that never changed. So I really had no reason to recognize. I have to give our credit to my wife ultimately though.
So let me ask you this: and since you said you were still getting attention, were you making good money back then as well? Do you like was
Um,
that part of it?
so at that point, I went into the car business. So yeah, I was making decent money at that point. So
Okay,
yeah, I say
I
yeah.
got you. So, and like I said, I was scrolling through your social media feed, and I
Uh-huh.
kept seeing gems. And another thing I saw from you was you said keep the same energy towards
Yeah,
towards the positive, productive things as the unproductive things.
yeah.
What practical advice would you give on how individuals can redirect their energy positively?
Well, first of all, you just have to want to, and you have to recognize what you're doing. See, being aware is the most important thing you could possibly do for yourself is be aware. You have to be aware of your surroundings. That's something I teach. Again, being from the culture, being involved, I was involved in things I didn't have in the business been involved with when I was younger. You grow this certain level of awareness, just paying
Mm,
attention at all times. You feel what I'm saying? So, with that being said, in my culture, I see a lot of BS. I see a lot of things going on that shouldn't go on. People are more than willing to give attention to the
mm,
BS, but when it comes to self betterment, that's corny. We keep that to the side.
mm,
So ultimately, it still boils down to you have to want to. You Everything starts with you. If you don't
mm,
want to change, you're not gonna change. Point blank. Period. Yeah,
mm,
people have life changing experiences that also affect you on the way they see things, but you still have to want to change. If you don't want to change, you're not. Period. I tell people all the time. Nowadays, I allow people to be who they want to be.
mm.
If you're watching me work through personal development, if you're watching me become better, and I'm telling you about it along the way, and no charge, and you're refusing to change, no disrespect, but you deserve what you get. You
Mm,
earned it. You earned it at that right. You have to want to change.
mm.
Showing up is not enough. You have to want it, whatever it is.
So backtracking a little bit, what made you want to change when you really seemed to maybe be at your rock bottom? Because you had mentioned earlier, and I want to touch on this a little bit. Is you said you didn't see your son for 6 months because of a relationship issue between you and the mother.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Maybe that time overlapped with when your wife initially got into Weight Watchers and whatnot, or if that's a
Mhm.
completely different time. But it seems like that would have been, a pretty dark period of time where you can't even see your own child. So I want to touch on that a little bit if you could.
Okay, and just to make sure, ask the question once again.
Yes. How were you able to get into the position where you wanted to change, even though you couldn't even see your son? So what made you want to change? Was that the same time that your wife got into all that, into the
No,
Weight
so
Watchers? And
so no, it was different times in the situation with my son is to a degree ongoing.
mm,
Obviously we went to court and etc. But no, this is the thing, and this is why I tell people you got to get to know God.
mm,
God, look, God come see me every single day. Boy, what is you doing? I make silly decisions now that he checking me about. So it goes back to that awareness. God, when I was in the streets doing things that I didn't have any business doing then, God, my conscience was this ain't
mm,
gonna turn out well. I know too many of my peers that have been getting signs from God, hey, you need to check this out. And they didn't. And it didn't turn out well. So I've always had a certain awareness to listen to my conscience, to listen to God, because look, a lot of mistakes my peers made, I was able to avoid simply by
mm,
watching them.
mm,
It's about being aware, man. You have to be aware. If you're not aware, man, you are doomed. You are doomed. You have to be aware. The world is changing so fast. The world is changing so fast. 10 years ago, social media wasn't what it is now.
mm.
You know what I'm saying? You weren't able to FaceTime someone, and like for instance, me and you're from you live in Indiana, right?
Indiana, yeah.
Yeah, a person from Indiana wasn't able to get on a FaceTime. This is like next level.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you have to be aware of what's going on. You have to be aware. If you're not aware and you're not willing to evolve, you are doomed. You are doomed.
Mm.
So to answer your question, my conscience has always played a role. I've always, to some degree, been aware. When I was fed, I wasn't so much aware. However, I did notice, dang, you ain't, you know what I'm saying? You ain't, because ultimately, that's what people do down here. People get married and get fat. Most people, no disrespect to my state, are overweight. So that portion I noticed, but I wasn't having that hard kick in the butt to change it.
Yeah.
But of course, everything else, God has always been on me. He's always been, hey, that ain't the right move. That's the wrong move, etc., etc., etc. That's why it's so beautiful to have a relationship with God.
Amen. Amen. You shared a few, and maybe it'll be the same thing, but can you share a specific moment of failure or setback during your transformation journey and how you used it as a stepping stone to success?
Man, when I got in the stock market, man, getting my money to look, the NFT market, watching particular NFTs I had go from 5 ETH down to 0.50. Man, look, it's lessons in life everywhere. You just have to be aware and pay attention. The first time I lost weight with my wife, back in, I can't remember what year it was, 2021, 2020. I gained all that weight back. Running the streets. You know what I'm saying? Gained all that weight back. So setbacks, controversy is a part of life. You have to fight back. The way I look at it is, and this is where your mindset comes in. If you're not willing to fight back, you're a coward. You're useless to the world as a man. You have to listen. People need something to respect. How can you protect your loved ones if you not go fight back? So you have to fight back. So I've always been a fighter to a degree. It's just, it's hard. And as you know, because excellent job on your transformation, it's hard to lose weight. It takes a lot of discipline to lose weight. Like, it's not easy to not eat what you want when you want it, when you have access to it.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. And no, to be honest, I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't always want to work out. You think I want to work out this morning? It's Sunday. You feel what I'm saying? Man, I want to go get coffee with my wife and kick it and take pictures and stuff like that. I don't want to work out, but it's necessary. It's a part of the process. And we have to learn to fall in love with the process, because as we spoke about earlier, that's where the gems, that's where the wisdom is.
And it's not about what you want either. It's about what you need to do.
True.
That's the difference between discipline and motivation. Motivation, you want to do it because you're like pumped up. Right. But what changed between the first time and the last time that you lost all the weight? I mean, what mindset shift did you have that led to you to not, obviously going forward, you can argue it could be a possibility, but what changed between the first time and the last time? Why aren't you gaining it back right now?
I'm a different person, man. Like, I made a lot of mistakes between now and then. You feel what I'm saying? I made a lot of mistakes, man. You know better, you do better, or you a fool. Which one? I don't want to be a fool. Back in the day, we used to call people a fool being cute, like it was okay. But in the Bible, that's bad. You don't want to be considered a fool. So it'd be foolish to know better and not do better, which we all do all the time. But ultimately, my sons depend on me. My wife depends on me. People respect me. People look up to me. I've always been respected where I'm from, regardless if I lost weight or not. But it's a different level now, because everyone can have this. Everyone can be fit, but everyone is not. And I take pride in that. I take pride in separating myself. I take pride in not being like everyone else. And all men should want that. You should want to be a cut above in any way you can. So going back,
but there's those that don't. Yeah, there's those that were just like, nah, I'd rather be average. And dude, because literally the average man is divorced, makes like $30,000 a year, and they're obese. Like the average man, it's crazy. Like 0 out of 3.
Yeah, and getting in shape, that's the least bit any of us can. And fact of the matter is, when you start applying certain principles, it's gonna raise your frequency. It's gonna raise your frequency anyway. But all this starts with you. All this starts with you want to change. If you don't want to change, nothing is gonna happen. You have to want to change. You have to want to make the adjustments in order to correct it. No matter how much money you make, unless you have some type of physical disability, nothing is stopping you from doing push-ups. Nothing is. Nothing is stopping you from doing sit-ups. Nothing is stopping you from, rather than eat 2 double cheeseburgers, at least just eat 1.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Rather
Yeah.
than getting the double cheeseburger, the fries, and the drink, at least adding the water. The fact
Mm.
is, a lot of people don't want to change. They're comfortable. And you have to be willing and ready to change. You have to be willing and ready to be uncomfortable. If you're not willing to be uncomfortable, your situation is not going to change. How's your situation going to change if you're doing the same thing? No magic light bulb is going to go off. That's why I don't agree with the whole waiting to work out when New Year comes. So what? So what? As far as your body knows, it's just another date. You using it for an excuse, like you said earlier, about perfection. A lot of people use perfection as an excuse to procrastinate. You're just procrastinating.
It's measuring the behavior and the result, not just measuring the result. Yeah.
Correct.
I mean, because how many times did you work out one time? You're not really going to have a major result externally, but you might, after I would say after probably 2 weeks of working out, you'll also have that mental fortitude starting to build up, and your mental strength will be stronger than it's been before. But dude, I'm loving this conversation because they are flowing the questions, like flowing into the next one for each one. With those who can't be coached, or those who are not open to change, or those who aren't willing to change their habits, how do you handle situations when they are resisting the help or coaching? Or what advice do you have for them? Do you just let them go and be like, okay, well, if I can't coach you, then I can't do anything for you. That's on you. That's, you don't want to change your life. Cool. My life, I'm good.
So ultimately, I'm gonna stick in the paint with you for a little while, but you have to want it. I understand everybody is different too. Hear me loud and clear. Regardless, when I was working out and I wasn't getting results, I've always been a different person. I understand everybody is not blessed with the gifts that I possess. See, I never take my gifts that God gave me as a given. Things could be different. Things could definitely be different. You know what I'm saying? I don't have the skills and talents of Kobe or LeBron. Everybody has their own skills and gifts. However, I've always been disciplined. So I'll stick with people, through the bumps. But as an adult, I need you. Check this out. You spent your money. I can't want this more than you. You spent your money. This is your money, not mine. It would be foolish to not adhere to the practices that's going to get you where you're trying to go. That would be foolish. And again, I take being called a fool very, very seriously. And I'm honest with my clients. You playing. I tell them straight up, you playing. Quit playing. You wasting everybody's time. So yeah, so to answer your question, yeah, I'll stick in the pocket with you, but at the point, if you don't want it, hey, I got abs. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly. I mean, you already have it. You want to pay me and not do anything about it? Cool. I mean, I'll go take my family out for a nice dinner with your money or something, but I appreciate it. I'll help you change too, by the way. I'm not going to, scam you, but seems like you want to scam yourself pretty much.
Well, it hurts. I mean, it hurts to see people not be what they could become, because ultimately, as I stated earlier, it used to be a information problem. It's no longer an information problem. Fact of the matter is, if you can get with someone that's made it to where you're trying to go, quote unquote, west, you'd be foolish to have access to that type. Because at the end of the day, information is power. Information is power. I tell people to read books, because if you want to hide some high-level information from a person, put it in a book, because people hate to read. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. People hate to read. It's strenuous. You might have all the excuses in the world. I don't have time to get up early. It's always a way. Where there's a will, there's a way. But it all boils down to, it all comes back to, you have to want it. If you don't want it, no matter what's said or done, you're not going to accomplish anything. People have to want to change.
Do you have a top three books?
The Science of Getting Rich by Gerald Peters. I hate to be cliche, but the Bible, of course. Let's see. The Science of Getting Rich. You Don't Have to Die Broke by Gerald Peters.
I don't know if I've heard of those. Obviously, I've heard of the Bible, but I don't know if I've heard of those other two. I gotta check those out. Yeah.
You don't have to die wrote by Gerald Peters. He the truth. That's who I another mentor. That's who I learned the stock market from.
Okay. But that's where you lost 20 grand from.
Man, listen. Now the NFT things was separate. The
Okay.
stock thing is actually Gerald told us not to be playing with options, and I still play with them. And I, yeah,
I got you. So you got. He told you.
yeah.
He told you, yeah. Wow. But excuse me. Some people, as we're talking about, find it challenging to embrace the change and to come up.
Yeah.
And this question is really similar to the last one. How do you address resistance to change and motivate individuals to take that first step towards self-improvement? Because I know you were saying in the beginning, you'll stick with them. You'll go through the pain with them because you really want to see them succeed. And you said it hurts you actually yourself because, again, you want to see them succeed. But how do you do that? How do you address resistance to change and motivate them?
Well, it's a difference between wanting help and struggling and resisting. Two totally different things. If you're resistant, you're a fool. Period. Some of us need more encouragement than others. Some of us don't believe in ourselves. See, we can't. This kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier about being thankful for the traits I'm blessed with. Everyone doesn't have the same traits. Somebody somewhere dealt with a worse situation than you that they really don't believe in themselves. When it's a situation like that, I'm gonna do all necessary. Cause this is what I know. If you get up earlier, if you start writing out a short to-do list, if you read, if you work out, and if you stick to your nutrition, you're 1,000,000%, no matter where you are gonna get better. Period. Period. No matter what you do, you're going to get better. See, my personal development journey is a little different because I was gathering things along the way, like investing. I was doing investing before I knew what personal development was, but it's still personal development. You feel what I'm saying? But the task I'm going to give you, you're going to get better, but you have to want it. If you don't want it, what can I do? What can I do? You have to want to be better. And people, like I said, people that resist, I don't really deal with people that resist, but a person that's resisting, I mean, they're doomed anyway. What can you do for a person that doesn't want something? What can you do?
Nothing.
Exactly.
Nothing.
You see what I'm saying? So again, if a person that's struggling and a person that's resisting, it's two totally different things. Everybody doesn't have the same mental clarity. Everybody doesn't have the same want to as others do. And I get that. Not being arrogant, but being a nice looking guy, being successful in certain areas of life. My train of thought would be different from a guy that is down on himself, that does struggle with getting ladies and just not married and etc. Just train of thought is totally different. Because hear me loud and clear. This is what people don't know about me, and this is the first time I've actually said this. I was a very, 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 very shy child. I hated speaking. I would, to this day, I'm somewhat of an introvert. I would still rather be alone. But as a young person, I was extremely, extremely, extremely shy. One time, my parents in the neighborhood, they done a surprise party for me. And I walked in and all these people in there, I just went straight to the bathroom. You see what I'm saying? I mean, I was a shy child. So I'm saying that to say this. I understand people that aren't confident in themselves, but you have to be willing to take the help. You have to be open to the help. If you're not open to help, it's nothing anyone else can do for you.
Was it shy or was it insecurity and anxiety?
Both. I deal with anxiety to this. Well, I don't deal with anxiety now as much as I used to, but I've dealt with anxiety for a while, because like Wes teaches, when you don't adhere to your subconscious, that's where anxiety comes from. Anxiety is knowing you need to do something and refusing to do it. You feel it. You feel it when you eat something you shouldn't be eating. You feel it. When you know you need to work out, you feel something in you saying, I need to get up and work out. Then you resist it. Then you carry it all day long. And you wonder, you're trying to figure out, why am I feeling? Because you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. It's
And it
simple.
can affect you in different areas of life too. I mean, if it is that you need to go to the gym, it can affect you in business too, because it's like
Of course.
you have that on your mind. Yeah.
Of course.
Oh, wow. There's a few questions that I got from, I don't know if you're familiar with Lewis Howes. Got it from him. Some rapid fire questions I want to ask you real quick.
Okay.
Kind of going a little bit deep. It's your last day on Earth.
Mhm.
Everything you've created has to go with you. You can only leave behind or share 3 lessons that you know to be true or of value. What are they?
See God's face, find God,
Mm.
cherish memories because things fade. And be an example.
Mm.
Be an example.
So you think anything that you're coaching on, obviously you need to be that example. You can't say, oh yeah, you guys need to go work out, 5 days a week or whatever you guys need to do. You guys need to track your macros out. I'm not tracking my macros though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. You have to set an example. And the thing is, what people don't understand is we see so many people that's fake on the line. Me, I can see it. I see it. I know you flies. Like all these people online just pretending like they're natural and you're not. I can care less. It's not my business. But at the end of the day, I can speak this way. I can speak this way. I can talk this way. I can have this swagger when I say what I say because I'm really this. This isn't a fake. This isn't a fraud. If this was fake, deep down inside, I still would be a little more. And some people can fake it well, but it's you know when you see the real thing. It's that simple. You know when you see the real thing, and when someone's faking the funk, you can tell. I can tell.
Yeah. What are your 3 truths?
Let me make sure I'm understanding the question. Will you
Yeah.
elaborate?
So the way I interpret it, what are the 3 things you live by? What are the 3 things you abide yourself by? What are the 3 things you want to relate yourself with?
Okay. One, of course, God. I want to be spiritual. I want to be righteous. I want to be righteous. That's the part of the game that's missing for so many people. I want to be righteous. I know nowadays it's cool to be, take advantage of people and things of that nature. I want to be righteous. And my third truth, be willing to evolve. You have to be willing to evolve. You evolve or die. Become or regret is my slogan. Become or regret. The worst pain you'll ever experience is the pain of regret. That girl you like, man, don't stall. Don't put it off. If she say no, hey, so what? But go ahead and say something to her.
Yeah.
And who knows? You will never know what'll happen if you don't take those steps. So God, being righteous and being willing to evolve.
Okay. What are 3 things you cannot live without? I'm assuming God. Yeah.
Well, ultimately, I don't want. My wife is my dog in real life, but of course, I can't use an individual because death is promised. So 3 things. Well, let me go back. I hate to say I can't live without because we have to live without whatever we have to live without. However, I would say God. And when you say, let me just make sure I understand. Is this materialistic things? Can this be anything?
This can be anything. I mean, if it's a materialistic thing, cool.
Okay.
If it's deeper than that, cool.
Okay. 3 things I can't live without. I hate to say it. I can't live without my phone. I'm gonna have a hard time without my wife. That's my dog. Technology as a whole, man. I love technology still to this day. I love technology. There's PS5s around here everywhere. There's multiple Macs in here. Microphones, NFTs. I love technology. So I would say technology. I hate to say my phone. And clichely, God.
I like that. God, tech, phone.
Yeah.
I like that. Or God, tech, wife. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. So on this episode, we have had the honor of interviewing Jay Miner, who is inspired by both his wife and by God, and has fallen several times, but has gotten up each and every single time. Jay, before you go, could you just provide us with one piece of actionable advice on how others can maybe make the same transformation you've made on your life?
For sure. Look, get started. I know it sounds corny. But you have to get started. Nothing is shaking if you're not shaking. You have to get started regardless of what it is. I know it's uncomfortable, and you know, I get it, but get started. If you plan on working out, don't wait. And it's Wednesday. Don't wait until Monday. Go ahead and start. Go ahead and start. You're gonna feel better immediately, regardless of what it is. Get started. Don't stall. Again, I know it sounds cliche, but I promise you, this made a big difference in my life. You have to get started, regardless of what it is. Start today. Start yesterday.
That's going to be hard to follow, so I will end it there. Thank you for being here, Jay. I cannot even speak right now.
Most definitely, Tony. Look, I appreciate the opportunity to, you know, show up on your podcast, man. It's big love, bro.
I appreciate it, brother. I appreciate it.